Hey guys, Alex Jordan here. I want to welcome back to another interview. Today we have Delfim from HotGhostWriter. He runs a great writing company. If you followed me at all, I really only recommend one writing company, and that's HotGhostWriter. Typically, I either recommend HotGhostWriter or find your own freelancers. So I decided to sit down with Delfim and kind of wanted to hear his story and hear any tips that might help you as the audience. So Delfim, how are you doing today?
Good. Doing well. Thank you so much for having me, Alex. Just pushing through a lot of work. Excited. Doing well. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. We can get straight into the question. So the first question we had was, what kind of got you into the publishing space, just so people know your background?
Yeah, so with publishing, it was just, at the time, I got into publishing around 5 years ago initially, and I was literally I was at a point where I was looking for a way to make money online. I was working, your typical job at the time. I was working a sales job actually, and just really wanted to move into something else. I just closed a real estate consultancy business with my still current business partner, Fabian Sid. He had gone on to work at Google, and I was just looking, for a way to kind of build a new source of income to then move away from your job, right? I had just come across the whole make money online, passive income, that whole idea. So, was super excited. And I actually found publishing from a video. So I was just constantly watching these videos, like how to make money online, going through articles, all this sort of thing. And was reading a lot as well, business books, just really obsessed with the idea, right, of financial freedom. So stumbled across a video that was called, I think it was called like seven income streams, something of that sort. And he happened to have mentioned Kindle publishing, which at the time I'd never ever heard of this. Like I said, I was reading a lot of books, right? Business books, and the idea of being able to release my own book on Amazon, which is where I was purchasing my own books, was insane. I was like, what? Like, I can put my own books on Amazon? Like, this is crazy. So got super pumped. Looked for, did some digging and found KMM at the time. KMM, I can't even remember what it stands for, but it was the course ran by Stefan James. He was known as Stefan Pillarinos at the time. So jumped in and just literally, head first. A few months later, managed to get it to a decent income, and left my job, moved to Asia to kind of strap down and have more money to invest back into the business. And so that was the start of my introduction to publishing, if you will, about 5 years ago.
Wow, that's really cool. You're almost like a mini serial entrepreneur.
Yes.
Cool. So you started doing your publishing, you're making good money. So at what point did you start HotGhostWriter?
Yeah, it was actually around 6 months after I released the first book, because at the time Stefan was recommending some services, and I used one of the ones that was around at the time. I think I used a couple of them, and the experience was just rather dreadful, I guess, in terms of the quality. I remember I got a book. The topic was actually how to build an eBay business, right? And I got back this book, which made no sense whatsoever. It didn't actually bring value to the reader. Like, I genuinely had to sit there and rewrite most of the book, right? And the interaction with their team wasn't very good. So it's just like, whoa, this book, these companies aren't really providing a quality service, nor are they providing a quality product, right? Which I think are the two fundamentals, and it's actually the foundation, the mission of HotGhostWriter, if you will, the product and the experience. So that's where kind of the idea came about, right? So 6 months in, as I said, just at that point, I had a system going, if you you will, in terms of a team of writers, some editors that were working for my books, and a process of releasing new books. So I decided, hey, why don't I just take these writers, these editors, put them under a service, because they're good. I've vetted them. I've gone through the process myself. I understand what publishers need. This business model is insane. I'm a young kid at the time, and I'm making money online. I've quit my job. This is super exciting, and I would love to be able to also bring a service that would give other publishers, right, other young people, or just publishers in general, who also want to experience the same success that I have. So that was the beginning of HotGhostWriter. Literally just had like a cheap website made. I can probably even send you a screenshot, a picture after of the initial design. I had like this really crap $5 logo from Fiverr.com. Like it was terrible. That cost, I must have invested maybe $150, I think, in initial investment. The website, the logo, your hosting, and yeah, just went live. Started working with the people that I knew in the space. Like, hey, I have this service, and yeah, steadily we started to promote the service, to bring something quality to the space. And yeah, from there it was a matter of working with new people, and over time, through word of mouth, we are where we are at today.
Awesome. Cool. So I know you've obviously undergone a lot of changes throughout the years. So what's kind of the work process when someone puts in, when I put in an order for HotGhostWriter, how does that what happens after I submit my order?
Yeah. So even with the ordering process, we've tried to make it pretty special and unique, which is actually the whole system itself is going through a revamp right now. So we have a really cool project going on. But the ordering system is a step-by-step process where you can kind of we call it build your book, right? We have a book builder on our site where, you attach everything that you would need, your book cover. What we've done, we've made a one-stop shop for publishers. That was something really huge when we first kicked things off. It was like, okay, one place where people can get all that they would need, whether they're new or a veteran publisher. So the covers, your descriptions, the blurb, or everything you would need, right? Then the process, once someone has actually submitted their order, what we then do is we add them to our own platform, which is a process we call open communication, right? A feature called open communication, where, as you know, Alex, you're able to interact directly with the writers, your editor, your assigned graphic designer, interior book designer, if you have premium formatted added to the projects as well. And yeah, from there, you can interact with the team. You can actually access the book file itself in real time, see the book develop. And the process, we've made it in a very step-by-step, smooth experience, if you will, where we go from the outline. If the client has an outline, review it, ensure that we have all the major elements that would bring maximum value to the reader. If it's nonfiction or if it's fiction, appropriate structure for the development of a full story. So we start with the outlining process, move on to the first bit of writing. In the writing process, we tend to request the client to review and give their approval at 25% and 75% completion. And some clients like to be very involved in the process. This is why we actually initially created the whole open communication thing, just allowing people to really follow along. Like the examples I mentioned of the companies I first worked with 5 years ago. You're dealing with a support person or a manager, right? So you make some requests and then they pass that on to the writer, and you don't really know if they've grasped what's needed. So removing that restriction, right? That barrier to communication, right? The whole middleman thing. Because also, just if you allow me to add just another layer to that, is, for instance, with fiction publishers, right? Typically, you're releasing a series, you're building a brand with your readers, right? And it's fundamental for you the brand owner and the writer to kind of be on the same page in terms of what readers want, being able to pass your ideas, brainstorm ideas. So that's the whole open communication. But at the same time, the process is simple enough where if you don't want to be too involved, you simply want the writer to get to it. It's absolutely possible as well. You can simply check in at those pinpoints, those milestones, as I've mentioned. And then, once the writing is complete, the first draft approved by, the publisher, we then go into the editing stage. And then from there, if we've included the rating is done, and then the final projects are delivered via a cloud folder. So essentially what we've created is a process where the publisher can have everything they would need, right? And it all progresses very seamlessly. So you have the writing, if you have your cover design being done as well, your graphic designer is kind of carrying out the design. You can see it, you can make adjustments, then it's steadily progressing through onto editing. At this time, you have your cover designs done. We would commence narration, any premium formatting, and then at the end of the time frame, you have everything to literally just download and upload onto the platform. So, KDPs, you're publishing your ebook, your paperback. If you've also included the narration, you're going through ACX to get your books up on Audible. That's kind of the process. So it literally allows, so an example, one of our clients, well, you'd be a good example as well, Alex, because you tend to publish pretty aggressively. But another huge client of us, a good friend of mine as well, Gerald Confianza, who this dude likes to literally publish huge number of books at a time. It just makes things really simple for him, where he has an overview of where everything is at. At any point, he can access, let me have a look at these couple of books. How's it going along? You have your support manager as well, your dedicated project manager who can give you those updates, who's there to ensure that everything is coming together really well. So that's the way we've kind of looked to approach things. Bringing a strong production resource for publishers, right? Whether one book, whether you're doing 20 books, it's seamless, and get you some great books to put out to the marketplace. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, no, great. And just to give my personal kind of review just for as a user experience, definitely having I remember when I had 15 books or something all at the same time, having it in the project management, just to be able to see it all really helps. Because you kind of, when you have that many books that you almost forget, oh yeah, I forgot I bought this book. So it's really nice to kind of see it in one spot. And of course the edits, you're definitely going to get the best quality of book long term by being able to do all those edits. And sometimes HotGhostWriter is slightly more expensive than maybe some of your other options, but to me it's one of those things where you could spend a couple extra $100, and that's going to save you from those extra 3 or 4 bad reviews because it was all filler, or the book wasn't quality, something along those lines. Paying that slightly extra amount saves you definitely over the time, just in a couple months. It'll definitely save you a lot of money. I know I took my best-selling book. It was making $1,000 a month, and I had gotten it from some freelancer. And once I saw it was taken off, I was like, dude, I need to get copy edited and development to be edited. I need to add an extra 5,000 words in it. So I just sent it to you guys, and you guys, squared it away super good. So now it's a top quality book. Now it's literally a best-selling book.
That's awesome, man. I remember that project we had with you. If you may as well, just to kind of add on the thing that you said about having all the books there, it's actually one of the things that we're putting a lot of attention now with development, because we're essentially developing a new dashboard for the company. So instead of people, because we use Asana for project management, but now we're going to have a dashboard on top of it. And what that's going to allow is the whole experience and the tracking of your projects to be even a lot smoother. So, having a progress bar, being able to see, okay, this is where this book is, being able to see, hey, the cover design is ready for your review. Hey, the editing is done. So just making the experience even that much better. So that's something we have in the works right now. And on the qualities, your comment in regards to quality as well. That's the whole idea. It is a bit more of an upfront investment, but you have a product that, because something that I noticed when I initially started publishing 5 years ago was that A lot of the times you have to keep releasing books because your books begin to die out, right? And these are most of the time caused, of course, the algorithm, which is something we can't control, but something we can control is the quality of the product you're putting out. Typically, through my, just experience and dealing with many publishers, work with people that are absolutely smashing it, like yourself, Alex. And one of the reasons why they work with us is because that quality increases the longevity of the book. You have the reviews, you also have Amazon tracking how far into the book people are actually going, right? If they're actually reading the entire book, you got to remember this is Kindle digitally. It's all digitally tracked. They can see which books people are pushing through, right? They want to have readers go all the way to the end to make that next purchase, right? They want people to be engaged into the platform, right? They want people constantly on the platform. So books that are, great books, they're keeping people hooked, they're increasing read through. If you're doing a fiction series, these are what increases the longevity of your business, right? And you're not relying constantly on publishing more and more books to maintain your income, but instead you're building your income with every new release, right? Your book is acquiring great reviews. Your book is readers are getting a ton of value. They're continuing to read books from your brand. So all these things that contribute to the long-term return on your investment. So that's how we've liked. And as you can see, even with HotGhostWriter, it's our whole perspective. At least me as one of the the key figures in the company is like to really focus on a long-term on having something solid, right? So that's the same thing with HotGhostWriter and how we operate it. We like to improve the experience of clients. Same thing for the products we produce for our clients, right? Helping them establish a solid long-term business. So I just went on a little rant there, but just
No, of
something
course.
to add.
No, I completely agree. That quality long term. I've noticed all my books that have died out. They're all from bad reviews. Literally, they're all from bad reviews. So the higher, like I kind of do group coaching a lot, and I always talk about like trying to make your book as close to like a real publisher as possible. Like
Absolutely.
having the quality, the standards. Like when I go to HotGhostWriter, I always get pictures because personally they're the best company. You guys are the best company to get pictures from because the rest just do like random like free stock images. You guys have like pretty specific images. Having that extra quality really means a lot and really helps long term.
Yeah, yes, we could.
So let's move on to our next question. So what are some publishing trends that you've seen in 2020 going forward, kind of with the pandemic and just in general, maybe even before that too, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, sure. So I actually did some research recently for a video that we put out, for close clients, and we actually shared it in some of the groups, which was an actual view of, buying trends, especially now with the pandemic, and literally looking at figures across the board in publishing. Some of the main markets, as we were touching on before this call, children's books have been doing really well. So juvenile nonfiction, also juvenile fiction did see a bit of a spike, but juvenile nonfiction has been huge. Also pre and middle school topics, like your basic mathematics, science, language arts, these sorts of topics where essentially, you have parents homeschooling their kids, entertaining their kids. So we're seeing huge spikes in that market. What are some other trends that we've been seeing? I've been having some conversations with clients. Our nonfiction clients have been doing really well as well on the, just the fact that people are at home, they want to be entertained. So we're seeing those clients that really have an established business in terms of, an established brand, an established library. I had a call with a client a couple of weeks ago, one of our top clients. He's doing really, really well. He does 6 figures a year. And he said he's been having record numbers, both on his fiction side, so, contemporary. Also, what was the other genre he was in? I can't remember the other space, but I know he does, your contemporary romance. He does sweet romance. He's been having record numbers. So that's what's been huge, even with nonfiction. On the nonfiction side, your I was looking at some medical historical books were doing really well, which is kind of odd. But yeah, the huge spikes have been in the children's space. Yeah, for the fact that you have your homeschooling and that sort of thing. These are like double-digit spikes. But across the board, I think across the board, just the most clients that I've been interacting with, they have been seeing higher numbers. As we said, people are at home. I think also a huge factor is how people's buying habits have changed when it comes to the consumption of books, right? Like those individuals that were using, their local bookstore, right? They don't have that option anymore. So they're on Amazon. People that were using alternative, indie bookstores or local bookstores, they're all being funneled now to Amazon. People that weren't reading perhaps are reading more now for entertainment, for the subject that they study. So across the board, it's a great time, especially Amazon. I think they're in a great position with everything that's going on, for being, first of all, a huge retailer, one of the top booksellers in the world, and now just having such a huge advantage in terms of the interface that they have, even once paperback books recover fully, right? Because we have some restrictions because of deliveries, some delivery restrictions. But even once that's back, right, they're in the best position with their print on demand. So, but more specifically, not to drift away too much from your question, children's has been huge. Fiction, and specific trends. Yeah. Besides that, most markets are on the up. We did have some declines here and there, but yeah, I hope that answers your question. Trying to think if there's anything in particular that I've spotted this year. Well, yeah, audio always on the rise. As always, it's been growing double digits year upon year for the last few years. Yeah, I think now with everything that's going on now, publishing as a whole, book consumption as a whole is on the rise. At least, the close clients I'm interacting with, also figures that I've been seeing. But yeah.
Yeah, no.
Have you spotted anything that I haven't?
No, I think it almost feels like a second quarter four, especially the first month or two. Like I had record numbers too with some of my books. I'm like, wow, it's crazy.
Nonfiction, it's been huge, man.
So what do you think? What do you think publishers should do going forward? Just like thinking into the end of 2020, end of 20, or into 2021. Do you think any?
Publishing is huge. I think this whole situation has shown how much of an awesome business model it is. Like, honestly, all jokes aside, like being totally transparent, it is a brilliant business model. We now see the benefits of it in terms of, you have no inventory, you're selling a digital product, you have a global customer base, right? If you're just on Amazon, that's fine. You have a huge customer base. You also have the ability to go wide, as they call it, and on multiple platforms. So the thing really is doubling down. We actually have a publishing brand that we're going to be releasing. So we're going to be doing this is what I was hinting on with you at the start of the call. We're going to be producing a romance brand, and kind of following the progress of that. So building it from zero up to a certain figure, and just kind of documenting the whole process. And just really getting some more experience on the marketing side, because on the production side, we have a solid team, but also getting some more experience on the marketing side, and also showing our clients what it's possible. And the fact that it is a huge opportunity, right? So it's kind of taking the resources that we have, and then putting out some books there. But yeah, I would say it's really expanding it. I mean, holding cash, as we know, cash doesn't really have much value, right? In the banks, it's always declining. So from my perspective, which is the same thing that we have with this brand that we're starting now, it's in one way a proof of concept, but also it's us literally using resources to just create an additional income source with publishing. So it's going to be a fun project. But yeah, it's an investment at the end of the day. So I would say really just scaling, growing the business, expanding, going at it aggressively. Right now is a huge opportunity in terms of, who knows if Amazon will be restricting it in the years to come. So then also you have the holiday season coming up at the end of the year. So yeah, I would just say really doubling down, producing new books, really focusing on the quality, focusing on brand building, whether you're working with HotGhostWriter or not. Focus on building a solid brand, focus on putting out great quality products. It's a huge, huge business model. I mean, it's massive. Digital with the ebooks, with audio. Yeah, it speaks for itself. As we see now, people struggling. If you're doing FBA, you're struggling to get your inventory out there. There's restrictions with deliveries. If you're doing real estate, you have issues right now with vacancies. If you're relying, if you're doing Airbnb, now you're screwed because you don't have any tourism. So we're seeing holes in multiple business models that we saw as solid business models, which still, of course, real estate's going to bounce back eventually. But publishing, which sometimes people don't see it as a real business, it's bloody thriving right now. Right? It's insane, man. Like, seriously. So just scale, just push it, and I'll actually be doing that proof of concepts under my own channel. So that will be fun. Yeah, that's my advice, really. That's all I could say.
Yeah, no, thank you. So you said your YouTube channel. So other than HotGhostWriter, where can people find you?
Oh, yeah, just Delfim Alvaro. I have a YouTube channel. Haven't used it much for a while, but yeah, just going to pick up, put some content there. I think it'll be quite fun. Yeah, so Delfim Alvaro.
Cool.
Is the name of the channel.
That'll work. Well, that if you have anything else to say, now is your time to say. If you got any last words?
Okay. Yeah. No, just we're here to help whoever's looking to grow a business. A publishing business, or if you're watching this and you're not in publishing, maybe you're looking to have a book written on a topic, maybe to boost your own business, whatever your objective may be. Reach out to the team. We'd be more than glad to see how we can help you. Yeah, that's what we're here to do. We're not going anywhere. We're continuously looking to, improve the experience for clients, continuously looking to improve the product. So those two fundamental pillars, product and experience, that's what we focus on. So yeah, reach out. Any questions, we collaborate. We just started collaborating now with Alex. Before it was just a client and, a client relationship, I guess, you as a client and us as the service provider. But now, we're collaborating at a different level now. So yeah, reach out, whatever you need. Be more than glad to assist you, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to add.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate all the links will be in the description where you can Delfim, HotGhostWriter, and whatnot. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll work together soon. We'll do other stuff together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. Cheers.
Yep.